Hey everybody, welcome to the Metal Magdalene with Jet Radio broadcast right here on Metal Messiah Radio. Today as our guest we have with us from the band Aborted, their singer and founding member, Sven. Welcome to the show, Sven.
Hey, thank you.
So Sven, first of all, just to check in with this whole virus crisis thing going on, how are people in your country of Belgium kind of dealing with this right now?
It's interesting. I'll say that there's a majority of people that understand why we're on lockdown and why it needs to happen, and they're actually deciding to stay home. And then you get your percentage of retards that say fuck it and break the rules or whatever. Which just in the grand scheme of things, if you believe in whatever you want to believe, if you're not gonna stick to the restrictions that they're putting up, you're just putting everyone else longer in lockdown. So I just want this thing to be over.
Yeah, I know, we all do. And speaking of that, you guys were about to kick off your huge U.S. tour that, of course, has been canceled. But you do have some merch from this, do you have merch from this tour that you're going to be selling online so fans can at least support the band and pretend they went to go see you?
Yeah, I mean, it's the unfortunate byproduct of the tour being canceled is that all the merch is already printed. So the problem is that we already printed everything, so we actually have to pay the bill. So if people can afford to buy a shirt that they planned on getting on the tour, we know it's tough for everybody. So if you do have the means, you want to support the band, you can go in indie merch and grab one of our fantastic selection of cloth, if you will.
Of non-tour shirts.
Yeah, we fortunately, since all this shit was going down, we didn't print tour shirts, but
good.
At least none with the date on, but there's a lot of stuff there that we hopefully can sell off so we can pay the bills. And
this year, the band's 25th anniversary, although it's kind of a shitty time in history to celebrate this big milestone. When you started this band, was it your lifelong goal to make this your career, Sven?
I'm glad that you asked this question, because at first I was thinking, was it your lifelong dream to have your anniversary in a pandemic? Which, not really. But, I don't know. I mean, it just started, we just started doing this shit, and it just grew from being a bunch of friends locally playing some death metal when death metal was not at all popular to what it is now. And I'm very happy to say that we're still all friends that are playing together, even if we're spread out through the world, and it took a couple lineups to get that way. But we're in a good place, and we're having fun, which is, I think, the most important thing. I think a lot of people just look at this still as a business, which, I mean, it is. But I don't rely on this to make a living. Some of the people in the band do. But to me, the main reason to do this is because I love this kind of music. I love playing with my friends. I love writing music. And I think that's, the right reason to be in this music business, especially if you play something as extreme and retarded as we do. So.
And what about, do you love getting up there and performing for everybody? Because you're like a whole different animal when you're up there on stage, then.
Yeah, I mean, this is part of why I do what I do. It's it's a way to get out all the frustrations, all the negative energy you have. It's a way to have fun with the crowd, and I like having interaction. I believe that you should give a performance and not just play your songs perfectly, whatever, but also there should be something happening for people, because otherwise might as well stay home and listen to the album. You know what I mean?
It's true, and it's always fun to watch you guys up there and play. And, well, today we're here to talk about your new EP, La Grande Masquerade. So what is the Grand Masquerade in your eyes, Sven?
That's a good... I think it's something that hits on multiple levels. I think, in a way... to me, the Grand Masquerade can count for multiple things. One of the topics in the EP is mental health. There's a lot of it's dealing a lot with depression and personality disorders. I think in a way that's what you can see as a masquerade too. People that hide away behind whatever facade that they build up or that they have to build up to sort of be able to function in society. I think a lot of people have to deal with that, be it if they have mental health problems or not. Sometimes you just have to, you're in that position. Mm-hmm. On another level, it's very clearly that everything which involves any mass organization, be it on a business level, be it on religion or politics, there's a lot of masquerading going on, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm.
And And I was just going to ask you were talking a little bit earlier about different lineups. What's the current lineup of the band now?
Well, I mean, we have Ken on drums. He's been with us for over 10 years now. Mm-hmm. We have Ian, who's been with us since before Retrogore. He joined right after we did the Termination Redux EP, so he's been in the band for 6 years now or more. Mm-hmm. Stefano has been with us for a bunch of years, and we just had a new guitarist for the EP called Harrison. Mm-hmm. Things didn't work out with Mendel. I think he wasn't, his heart wasn't into it anymore. He wanted to stay home and focus on other things, and it was showing. So for both of us, it was the best that, we're all still on really good terms. We're all still really good friends with Mendel, but his passions lie elsewhere than being on stage every night and doing this kind of thing.
And now, did you have any guests on this EP at all?
No guests.
It's all you guys. In the EP, 3 tracks, 2 new songs, and one that didn't make the cut to TerrorVision, your last album. So why didn't it make the cut on your last album, and why did you want to include it in this one?
2 reasons. First of all, whatever we all recorded for TerrorVision was too long. We had a 60-whatever-minute record, which, for the kind of dense material it was way too long. Mm-hmm. And then we had 4 tracks, which we ran out of time in the studio, so they still needed to have vocals recorded and be mixed. Mm-hmm. So I recorded the vocals later, since we decided to cut the TerrorVision record to a certain time together with the label. And out of those 4 tracks, the one we really liked was Funeral. The other 3 we were thinking were more bonus tracks anyway, so we just kind of left them as it was. And I recorded vocals for Funeral. We mixed it, and then we decided last summer to record some new tracks that we're working on, and that's how you have the EP.
And now, was the EP your guys' idea, or did you kind of collaborate with your label to do this? And why did you want to go the EP route instead of another full album?
Well, we toured at Buckton for TerrorVision, and when we were going to do this US tour, we kind of needed something new to put out there. We also, since it's the 25th anniversary of the band, we wanted to have something out for it. And the idea was to add a re-recording of a couple of old songs, but unfortunately we ran out of time and budget, so we just took it to those 3 tracks which we felt were strong enough. But basically, yeah, that's how the idea came from us, because we wanted to do something in the year where we have our anniversary. We just weren't too sure what. And we also wanted to see how it worked out, if we recorded certain things at home and have them mixed. So it's kind of like a mixed bag of reasons of why we would do this thing. And simply also, we don't have enough material yet to throw out an album right now, which I'm very happy we didn't release an album right now.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. And it's like you said, you, of course, didn't know this whole stupid Corona thing was going to go down, but with the EP, it would have been great. It would have been continuously touring because the North American tour was pretty extensive, and you would have been able to bring some new music with you too. And it would have been fantastic, Sven.
I know.
What the hell?
It's not my fault.
So tell us a little bit about the cover artwork and artist and what you kind of wanted it to depict.
Well, obviously the cover artwork, just like TerraVision actually, it deals with just one of the layers of the idea behind the concept. We went for the most obvious one, which is religion. Mm-hmm. And the artwork is done by an Australian guy called Mitchell Nolte. Mm-hmm. He's fairly new. I mean, he's been doing art for a while, but he's from Australia, and I think he mainly did some Australian bands. We got to know him thanks to Dave from Psychroptic, who's a good friend of ours. Mm-hmm. He recommended him since he did, I think he did the re-release of the Scepter of the Ancients record, and the first record. I really liked what he was doing because it was drastically different from the stuff we already had, and we were like, so since it's an EP, it's a one-off, let's try something completely different and see how it goes. Let's try that traditional painting style, and he did a fantastic job. He was great to work with. I have nothing but positive words about Mitchell.
And I noticed with your stuff that you pre-released already for everybody to check out, you've had a lot of really great reviews. So how much do you put into reviews? Do you think they're important? And what have the people been saying about the music they've heard so far from it?
So far, it's been really positive. There's only been one negative review, I guess, from Austria, where the guy was like, I used to like them, but now this kind of music is too hectic for me, and so some shit like that. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that's fine, to each his own. I'd rather have polarized, opinions about it than just be mediocre. But it's been really good so far. And I think do reviews matter? That's a tough question, since everybody has access to everything. I mean, reviews had to have a lot more importance, I think, back in the day, when magazines were still a big deal. Mm-hmm. And you actually had to go to the record store and listen to a record there, or just buy it and then check it out, and then you would actually give a lot of importance to a review, because you're spending your money on something. You want to know that it's worth the dollars, clearly. I think now, since either there's stuff on YouTube or you can just stream it on Spotify or whatever, I guess people can make up their own mind much easier than they were able to, let's say, in the 90s.
You mentioned something, too, about, the days when it was magazines and we relied on magazines and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. What were the early days like for Aborted?
Well, I started back in the day with tape trading, because I'm an old part, so it was a lot harder, I'll say, to get your name out there. But at the same time, every accomplishment would be something to be really proud of, because it was so hard back at the time. And if you think about it, it's much easier. It's much more convenient now. But I think part of the magic is lost in a way too, where I remember being 16 years old or 18, and going to the record store with my friends on Fridays after school. We'd have our allowance or whatever to buy records, and or you'd get a job so you could buy records, and you'd be very critically listening to records at the record store with your friends, and because that's your hard-earned money. and then you would listen to that record until it barely, basically fell apart because you paid a lot, it cost you a lot physically, and then there's this certain emotional attachment, and there's this certain thrill of being at a record store with your friends and discovering something. I think is maybe an experience that is lost these days, which doesn't mean that the way things are going now are bad. It's just a very different experience altogether.
I mean, what about you as a band too? I mean, like, back in the day, you see, your band in a magazine, and you'd be like, grab that magazine and be like, holy shit, we're in here, and flipping through the pages and stuff. And now it's like you're everywhere on digital and whatever print magazines are still left there. Is it still the same kind of magic for you as a band?
Oh yeah. I mean, every new record we put out is just like, it's its own, it has its own life, so it's great to see. Hopefully, people liking it and getting the reviews. Of course, you check it out, even if sometimes you shouldn't. I think it's still a great experience, and I think every record has its own life, has its own purpose, and
And I was noticing some of your pre-order merch that's available. Are these packages still out there? And if not, what formats can people order the EP on, and from where? And if there's going to be any other packages going on?
In North America, the pre-order bundles that we did are sold out. They're still available through our merch store in Germany. But if you want to pay idiotic amounts of shipping, go ahead. I wouldn't advise it. But yeah, so we have the German one still available, which has a flag, a shirt, and EP. The difference between the European version of the EP and the American one is that the European one's a digipack and the American version is just a regular jewel case. So I don't know if people care about that. That's the thing. Other than that, you can still buy the jewel case from Century Media, CM Distro, or wherever they have it available in mail orders in the States. We have all the merch available separately. And yeah, so you can just go on any merch and grab whatever.
And, if people want to learn more about what's going on with the band, which probably isn't a lot right now, but if they want to see what was going on with the band, where to order merch and that kind of, what are like the best websites for them to go to?
Well, we have an official website called gourmageddon.be, so you can check it out there. And as far as everything, you can find us on Facebook and whatever retarded social media platform except TikTok, because I'd rather fucking get AIDS than be on TikTok.
Then we won't be looking for a TikTok video from you from lockdown anytime soon then, Sven.
No, thank you. So, no TikTok for me, but we're on, I guess, everything else. We have the website, and you can grab our shits on Indie Merch or on Impericon.
So there you guys have it. Aborted has a new EP out called La Grande Masquerade on Century Media Records. You can check out their site to pick yourself up a copy and grab some merch. And Sven, thank you for taking the time to do this interview with us today, and all the best to you and the band.
Thank you.